Welcome back to Broken Electronics. Uh, it's good to be here. Thank you so much for joining me. Uh, we're following up on the last video about trying to update the test Mac Pro 5.1 to Ventura 13.5, which, if you've seen that video, you realize didn't go that well. Uh, I had hoped to end that video back on that machine, restored to where it was, but that wasn't happening. Uh, and it's been a merry chase since then. So the focus of this video is trying to get it back to where it was so we can move on with the testing. Uh, trying to put my finger on exactly where things went wrong for you. Uh, I You saw me booting into 13.5 and then doing the uh, post install root patch updates, and then it wouldn't boot, which has been the problem for non metal Macs. This Mac does have a metal graphics card, so I had not thought it would be a problem. Anyhow, since then, I've been trying to reinstall earlier versions of the OS, and I cannot get the thing to boot. It just wouldn't boot. I made a Monterey installer with the idea of restoring it to Monterey and then moving forward from there. I couldn't get that to boot. In the process, OCLP 0.6.8 dropped. I used that, figuring great. Now on this Mac Pro, which is my main video machine, and on what I refer to as the Bakersfield machine, which is a 4.1 flash to 5.1 firmware, it worked fine. I installed it on those drives. I wasn't doing any updates, but they rebooted with no issue at all. However, in trying to put that on the Monterey installer that I'd made, nothing. It wouldn't boot. Now, I finally got the test machine to boot into Mojave. And I think I realized where I'm an idiot. In order to boot back into Mojave, you've got to do a PRAM. I'm living in the past. It was PRAM with PowerPC machines. It's NVRAM now, although if you've ever reset the NVRAM, you'll know that the keyboard shortcut is Command Option PR for PRAM. Anyway, I reset the PRAM and it booted into Mojave. I think, and this video will show whether I'm right or not, that the issue was that I needed to reset the PRAM, clear out the NVRAM, clear out what was in there, and I should now be able to boot the installer, and heck, maybe the installation I did of 13.4.1 to boot. Well, the only way you're going to find out if that works is to stay tuned. What a tangled web this has all become. In order to boot the test 5.1 back into Mojave, I had to borrow a drive from the 4.1 flash to 5.1 firmware. The drive that was in the test machine that should have been Mojave turned out to have Big Sur on it. I think that probably goes back to when I was first going through the upgrades. And I moved from a SATA SSD to an NVMe PCIe SSD. Anyhow, what I got the bright idea, once I got the machine to boot into Mojave, that I would clone, using Carbon Copy Cloner, which you see on the screen, I would clone the installation from this drive that has to go back into the Bakersfield machine onto the drive that should be the Mojave/recovery drive of this machine. Had I known then what I know now, we are 3¼ hours into this cloning. It's thrown up some errors. I have no idea if that new drive will actually be able to boot or not, but yeah, maybe it'll be, yeah, we're close to 100 gigs. I think the amount on there is about 111, 112 gigs. So I might as well stick it out at this point, and then we shall see. So, if you want to see what happens, please stay tuned. All right, you probably can't read this. Carbon copy cloner encountered errors during the backup. I saw an error about that earlier. And we can see some of what the errors were. The backup did complete. It took close on to 5 hours to complete. I've never seen anything quite like that before. I have my wonders about whether this backup drive is actually going to be able to boot or not. And honestly, it's not that important whether it does or not. I mean, I've had problems working in this. I think there were problems with this Mojave installation as it is. So I'm suspecting it may not work. And in reality, on my 5.1 Mac Pros, I've generally just left a Mojave installation that was on there. Actually, it's a working installation. The more sensible thing would probably be to put a very small SSD in there, and the space for the second optical drive will work. I only have one that actually has 2 optical drives in there. Maybe 250 gig, and I have noticed the prices have dropped incredibly. There are places, notably Micro Center, that are literally giving away 250 gig SSDs, so they can be had cheap, even if you don't have a Micro Center close, as I don't. But put something like that in there, put a bare bones Mojave installation, because it's really just there as an emergency backup. If you cannot get the machine to boot, you can reset the NVRAM. Hey, I got it right that time. And boot into that and go from there. All right, my next step will be to see, can we boot into that cloned hard drive? So next clip, you will find out whether that worked or not. Stay tuned. Well, it's trying to boot. Okay, it's still trying to boot, and here it is. Okay, that's something. That's a warning about iCloud, etc. This hasn't been booted up. Actually, if anything, this seems to be working substantially better than the original drive. Okay, so I'm going to shut this down. And then the next step will be plugging in the latest version of the Monterey installer that I've made, which has got OpenCore 0.6.8 installed on it. And I think maybe I'm going to see if I can actually boot into what I tried to install on the NVMe drive. If not, I can always reset the NVRAM again. Hey, I got it right twice in a row. And then try again and then reinstall using Monterey, which is what I have in that installer. Well, anyway, stay tuned. All right, just so you know what's happened here, I had taken out all of the other drives. In fact, I had taken out every drive and tried to just boot the installer drive which didn't work. Then I put in the drive that I borrowed from the Bakersfield machine with Mojave on it, reset the NVRAM, and that worked. And I think the big problem has been the NVRAM. So what we're going to try now, I have put back in the PCIe NVMe card and the USB 3 card, which are the only, other than the graphics card, those are the only cards installed. I have left in the Mojave drive, and we shall see exactly what happens. All right, so we've hit the button. I'm holding down the Option key, which should bring up the bootloader. Once the RAM is all counted up, any day now. And there we go. There's the chime, so this should come pretty quickly. All right. Okay, so here we have the macOS bootloader. If we select the EFI boot, that will activate OpenCore. And here we go. So what we're going to try first of all is starting with the SPSSD, which should have 10.4, I think 10.4.1 installed on it. And I think we're already past the problem that had come up, so this is a good sign. Don't speak too soon, Jones. But it's flying along. Okay. Yeah, so I'm 90% sure at this point that the whole problem that I had encountered was the need to clear the NVMe RAM. The NVRAM. And yes, here we are with the welcome screen. How about that? And no mouse. Okay. Oh, there's our mouse. Okay, so we want to see if we can get back to English again. We're close. Maybe not. All right. Boy, there's a lot of languages, aren't there? But yeah, I mean, it had installed. Okay, so what's going to happen here is once I finally get into English to start the setup, will be I have a drive plugged in with a Time Machine backup. I also have a drive plugged in that's got no, that's not English yet. That's got a carbon copy cloner backup. One of the two should work to, restore this. Oh man, so I'll wait through this so you don't have to. Stay tuned. As it turned out, all I really needed to do was to click on the screen. Then I got the dialog box. I could easily select English and select United States. I've now selected the carbon copy cloner drive to transfer, and we're calculating. So, this is probably going to take a long time, but anyhow, we are on our way. Stay tuned. Okay, everything is selected. We've got 72.78 gig in applications. Lord. 121.29 gig in the profile folder. And system network is negligible. Other files and folders, okay. So, we're going to transfer. Now, this is on USB 3, so, and that's something to note. When you're looking to boot from a USB drive, the USB 3 drives are not accessible until the system is booted. So you'd have to use USB 2 built into the machine. However, once you have booted the machine, anything plugged into USB 3 is accessible as this is now. All right, so we're going to go on from here, so stay tuned. All right, I made the executive decision to delete a clip there. It's a rather lengthy one. The transfer of data all went, and then I was trying to boot up that Ventura installation. Now, as I had feared, the installation hadn't really taken. So the transfer of data all worked, but when I tried to boot it up, it went into a boot loop. It just constantly kept rebooting and rebooting, and I was tired of hearing the chime. And that clip went on forever. It was very late, getting very late last night. So that's gone. If there's a clamoring to actually see that, I can put it up, but I don't think I'm going to. Okay, back we go to the rest of the video. Stay tuned. Okay, it's in a boot loop. What I'm trying now is to boot into the Monterey installer, install the latest Monterey, and then maybe go from there. And now we see errors. Oh, this is tiresome. Oh, we made it past. Okay. For those of us who have lived through the Big Sur issues, anytime it stops, there's an automatic reaction. There's, okay, it's done. We have to restart. Okay. Huh. Okay. I think we're getting into the installer. And I think the thing we need to do is install Monterey. Okay, I'll have mouse movement. I'm sorry, this is going to end up being a long video. But then again, here I am at nearly 2 o'clock in the morning doing this, so hey, what the heck. All right, so yeah, we are in the Monterey installer. And I think our best bet is to continue through and install it. All right, let me go to disk utility. And go to the SSD in question and erase it. Which should give us our best opportunity for a clean install. Okay, I'll take some pity. Hang on. Okay, that didn't take long. Let's go ahead and install Monterey. Hopefully. And SPSSD. Okay, so we'll let this work. Stay tuned. Well, I'd hit the point where the standard boot screen stopped and then just went black. And I was almost at the point of thinking, should I just hit the power button and power cycle the thing? When it did come up. All right. So it's doing something. This is going to take a while. So stay tuned. Oh, well. Yeah, macOS installer. Okay. So, yes, stay tuned. There's quite a long wait there, but we're now again on our way. So we should end up with Mojave 13.6 points. No, boy, I'm mixing up the OCLP. But with the latest Mojave anyway. And then we'll think about moving on. Okay, so stay tuned. Well, we're rebooting again. As for what you missed, you did miss a good bit of good old ramrod display, which is, if anyone remembers from other videos, that tends to go slowly. And here we are. Okay. Booting into the SSD now. So if nothing else, the problems that we were finding earlier were all a result of a buildup in the NVRAM, and once the NVRAM was cleared, we're doing pretty well. Okay. How long this is going to take, I don't know, but stay tuned. Didn't take long, it just bounced right out. Now, is it going to reboot here? It might. Come on. Do something. Screen black, it's probably going to reboot. Yep. All right. Yeah, I mean, as far as the installer knows, this is a clean install of the OS, which it basically is. Well, it definitely is. So, hey, stay tuned. All right, the migration is now complete. I have no idea how long it took. It is now the next morning, and I was just really tired, so I crashed. All right, we click done. We should get a restart. I see what that was. No, it's not a restart. We're just blanking out. I think I should see something in there. Yeah. This will resolve itself. All right. Tell you what, I have no idea how long this video is going to be. So I think I'm going to take pity on you. We'll finish the setup and we'll hopefully come back on the Monterey desktop. Stay tuned. And that took seconds. Okay, we're back here. We're going to need to do some basic setting up. But we see some things here that don't completely... Oh, I see what we've got. Yes. The My Passport is the result of... That's the external drive that I was using. This is the recovery drive. So yeah, all of this adds up. Okay, so we need to do some basic setting up here, but we do appear to be back up and running. All right, once again, stay tuned. All right, here we are. We're back up and running. Got some things we can do. We can disconnect that backup drive. We're going to need to run OpenCore Legacy Patcher again, just to reset the in fact, we should do that now. While I'm thinking of it, all right. Oh, wow. Oh, wait. I know what's going on here. It's on the desktop. That's 0.6.7. Okay. So we'll get 0.6.8. Stay tuned. Okay, the update has downloaded. So we're building and installing OpenCore, installing to disk. And it did that automatically, which is kind of cool. I've already removed okay, that's right. There's only 3. Okay. And EFI. All right. And let's restart. Okay. Yeah, there is the only patching that needs to be done is the legacy wireless. Because I never did upgrade the wireless Bluetooth card in this. Okay, stay tuned. And now the reboot. Okay, there we go. Got the option key held down. This is one of my Mac flashed RX 580s. Okay, and of course we want EFI boot so that we're using the open core patcher, otherwise we would not be able to boot up. And the other option, of course, is the we're booting into Monterey now. The other option was the emergency version of Mojave. And yeah, booting right up. So yes, if we've learned nothing else from this little adventure, when in doubt, zap the PRAM, NVRAM. Okay, and bingo. All right, so where are we gonna go from here? With a quick look at about this Mac, we are on Monterey 12.6.8, the most current version of Monterey. We need to bring it back to Ventura. Now, the version of Ventura for which I already downloaded the installer is 13.3, so I imagine I will start with that and then try to take it to 13.5. I'm not expecting a problem getting to 13.5. But we shall leave that for another video. I'm sure this is more than long enough as it is. But success, the test Mac Pro 5.1 lives on. Be good to other people. They need it and deserve it. Be good to yourselves. We can make this world a better place. But in order to do that, we have to start with being good to ourselves. We will make the world a better place. It isn't yet, so please take very, very good and careful care in these difficult times. And next up ought to be going back to Ventura, which I may combine with going to 13.3 and then directly to 13.5, which ought to work. All right. This has been Broken Electronics.